Yeah, that's better. Starting to get the edges right. Yeah, Back to the Future musical is the first one I've watched. The first musical I've watched in a long, long, long time. I think the last musical I watched was Phantom of the Opera in the early 2000s, and that was at the Bradford Alhambra. That I really did enjoy that. I would like to go and see it again at some point. But I would like to go and see more plays and shows. I think you get a bit of a bug for it once you've seen one, and I wanted to go and see one that I know I would like. So that was it. Back to the Future was the one that I really wanted to see. There are other plays that I would like to. I'd like to see Grease. I'd like to see Book of Mormon. We Will Rock You. Wicked. Although I think they're making a film based on Wicked. But I think it's halted at the moment. I think they were making Wicked 1 and 2. But it's halted at the moment because there's a writers guild of writers strikers, and the Screen Actors Guild are on strike as well. So that's going to put everything back. That's not in the can. So the writers are on strike and the actors are on strike. So that's going to push a lot of things back. I mean, there's going to come to a point where there'll be no new anything for a while. But, you know, sci-fi geeks, there's always old TV shows and films that we can watch. The 80s and 90s Star Trek series, the films, there's loads of things that we can watch. In the meantime, I think Deadpool 3 has been put on hold now because of the strike. I mean, they took a long time to bring out the third Deadpool, but I think with lockdowns and things like that I think everything got pushed back. And as I do believe that Wolverine is going to be in Deadpool 3, which is just awesome. I did like the first one. Second one, I kind of liked it. But the first one was just so funny, especially the starting. The start with this kind of stills. And the guy who plays Deadpool is so funny. I can't think of his name off the top of my head at the moment, but they picked the right actor to play Deadpool, let's put it that way. Because there's a lot of humour in Deadpool, and the actor, he's just so funny. Can't think of his name. I've got his face in my head, but I can't think of his name. It'll come to me. Let me Google it. Ryan Reynolds, that's it. Ryan Reynolds. Very funny actor. They did closely link the second Deadpool to the X-Men. Because he is a Marvel character, not a DC one. So in the second one, they were at the school or the mansion where Professor X teaches the mutants how to refine and control their special abilities and powers. Oh, the pen's so thick now. But yeah, I do like Deadpool. I think most people do. It's a character that works. You can get on board with it. It's just you just sort of strap in for the ride, and it's just, you know, you're not going to be disappointed. Yeah, there's other YouTube channels that I watch. I watch a lot of true crime. So some of the channels that I like Stranger Stories, Coffee House Crime. Shout out to Adrian there. I love your videos. I think one's called Red Tree Crime. Another one's called 8 Minute Crime. So I like watching real interrogations because I just want to kind of work out what goes on in the mind of a killer. It's fascinating. You know, how do they justify what they do? And why do they do what they do? It's not only what they do, it's why they do it. And that's the fascination. I was watching one the other day from 8 Minute Crime, and there was a guy that they had in for interrogation, and I didn't think he actually did it. I don't think he did anything. So they did a lie detector on him, and he failed, and then he came clean and said that he'd killed this person 20-something years ago. And then further on in the video, he actually admitted that this person wasn't the only one he killed. He'd killed about 6 people, and they were at the officer was asking him, you know, why did you do it? And he said, was it planned that you were going to do this? And he said, no. Some kind of chemical in his brain makes him do it. And it's kind of like a thing that niggles away at him if he doesn't do it. He gets some kind of gratification out of it, but not the sort of gratification you're thinking of. It's kind of like it's like an urge to do it, where he can't really explain it. And when he does do it, it's the kind of, it kind of connects with his brain chemicals and balance in his brain, and it makes him feel better that he's doing it. And I'm just like, you know, it's, if put it simply, it's like, you know, if you really, really, really like chocolate, and you know, you crave it, your brain craves it, your whole body craves it, and then when you eat the chocolate, it's the satisfaction that you get from having the chocolate. That's the sort of thing that he had. His brain craved, strangely as it is, what he does, and then his brain releases chemicals in his head when he's done what he's done, like a reward, and which he can't control. Well, he says he can't control why he does what he does, but his brain's not satisfied until he's done it, and he'll never get out of prison. And he was doing well for himself. He actually had a really good job, where he was earning about 30 grand a month. You know, money was no object to him, and he was doing really well for himself. But he knew, now that he'd come clean, he knew that he would never be released. And he also said something really strange, which I couldn't wrap my head around, is that he said he's only going to give the police the information they want if they can guarantee that he goes to death row, because he doesn't want to live his life because of the way his brain operates. That his brain's not satisfied unless he does these horrendous things, and he knows they're wrong, but yet he can't stop the impulses, which, you know, I don't know anything he's saying is true, but according to him, he said it's like a demon inside him that controls what he does, and the demon has to be satisfied. Now, I don't really know that if that's true, if that's actually what he's controlling, what he's doing. I don't know. I mean, I can't wrap my head around it, what he's done and why he's doing it. But I mean, it's just fascinating just watching somebody explain what they've done and why they've done it. And my heart goes out to the families, the victims, because nobody deserves anything like that. But I think it's kind of a rubbernecking thing where people find out what somebody's done and it's horrendous. But the biggest thing that people want to know is, why did you do it? And that's the fascination. The fascination behind true crime is it's not so much about what they've done, it's why did they do it? You know, what on God's earth possessed them to want to do that? I watched some of Emma Kenny's videos. Shout out to Emma, because she gets really in depth with her videos as well. And there's This Is Monsters is a good channel to watch, because he's really good at explaining things, explaining what goes on. And he's got a couple of channels. He's got some ones where they're set in specific destinations around the world. There are other channels that I watch as well that cover this genre. It's probably why I like CSI, because they go into how somebody has done something, and then hopefully they can capture the person and then find out why they've done it. I mean, the police officer that was talking to this guy actually said that one of the reasons we want to speak to the perpetrators of these crimes is to find out why they do stuff, in order to kind of prevent it from happening again in the future. Sort of preventing the mindset of somebody doing this, finding out what, you know, is it a mental disorder, is it something else, to find out, like almost like a pre-crime approach, kind of finding out what ticks in the person that does it, and seeing if there's any markers or anything in the brain that can be picked up before somebody goes on to do these things. And I found that fascinating, because it's almost like they're trying to work out a way of stopping somebody who's got the same mindset and the same brain makeup, stopping somebody from actually doing it in the first place. And if they could do that, I think it's kind of the Minority Report situation, where, you know, people in that film were arrested for crimes that they hadn't done yet, but crimes that they were going to do. And I think we're going to get to a point in the future where we're actually going to be able to work out the brain chemistry and setup of somebody that would do this. And, you know, if we can find a way of reversing whatever it is causing it, or making them do that, then stopping them before they even do it. Or, which I can't see if they would do this, because it would kind of be illegal, but, you know, locking people up that have the potential to do this, which they can't actually lock somebody up for bad thoughts. So I found it quite interesting that this police officer said, or this detective said, that we want to know why you're doing this, so that we can prevent somebody with the same brain chemistry from doing it. But then again, you can't test everybody's brain chemistry, because if they tested somebody with the same brain chemistry as this guy, but yet he, you know, by the end of his life, he never actually did anything about his impulses. So you can't really lock somebody up for something they haven't done, or something that they may do at some point somewhere in their life. So that's what I found really interesting, because I've never heard of that kind of slant on things. Because to talk about identifying brain chemistry and mapping and things like that, of this is the brain of somebody that would do something like this, and this is the brain of somebody that wouldn't do something like this. Now, it's so fascinating. I've never heard anybody talk about crime like that before. I just found it so interesting that, like, police are interested in trying to find a way of stopping people from acting on their impulses. This is really, this paint's so bad now. Got to a point where this paint is just, it's so thick that it won't spread properly. I'm teaching myself to play the guitar again. I haven't picked up a guitar in like 20 years. So I've got some new strings that I need to put on it. I've got some songbooks that I bought. The best way to learn any instrument is to choose a song that you like. Because if you choose a song that you like, you will practice a lot more than on a song that you're kind of not really interested in. And if I told you the songs that I was learning, it would give my age away, because this band is not together anymore. The band members are still alive, they're just not together. They were huge in the 90s in the UK. Maybe you can guess from that information. They were huge in the 90s. And the next clue is they're brothers. I probably don't need to give you any more clues. The next clue is they were a rival. Oh no, hang on, let me do it. they're Manchester based. Is the next clue, which I think you'll know it now. The next clue is their rival in the charts, in the industry, were a London, that's a South England band. I'm thinking that they were based in London, but they're called Blur. So that's their rival. So I don't think I really need to give you any more clues now. So yeah, you got it, Oasis. So I've got 2 of their guitar books. So the song I'm learning is Half a World Away. And you might recognise the song from a show over here called The Royal Family. It was the theme tune to that show. But that's the song I want to learn because I've had it in my head for weeks. So I thought, right, I need to learn that. So I'm starting to learn that. But I was tuning my guitar in, and one of the strings snapped on it. Like I said, those strings have been on my guitar for the best part of 20 years. So when I was tightening them up, I think I might have tightened them the wrong way when I was tuning it in, and it snapped, which it doesn't surprise me. So I've got a new set of strings, acoustic strings, which I need to put on, and then I'll carry on learning the first song, because it gets easier to learn other songs once you've learned a song. Learning the chords and the arrangements and the strings and the shapes of the chords that you make. It takes a while for your fingers to build up calluses, to harden, because you've got to press down on the strings. So my fingers are callus free at the moment, but once I change the strings, which I might do tomorrow, yeah. I wonder if we've got any more blue, because we seem to be running very low on this blue colour. I'm not going to sing if I ever play on camera, because I can't sing. I really can't sing. My voice, my singing voice is too high for some of the songs that I want to play. My singing voice is too high. I mean, the only song that I used to sing years ago, I don't know if it was a Buddy Holly song, but I used to sing Heartbeat, and because my vocal range is high, it kind of worked, but that's not really a song I want to play on the guitar. So I think that was a Buddy Holly song, if I recall. It's also the theme tune to a show in the 90s called Heartbeat, I think it was set in Yorkshire in the 70s, I think, with a British actor called Nick Berry. And Nick Berry used to be in the British soap EastEnders. Now, some of you guys around the world may have heard of EastEnders, because it is quite because I know there are a lot of fans in other countries. I know there's a big Coronation Street fan club in Canada, and that's our Manchester-based soap. But EastEnders is an East London-based soap, which has been going since about 1985. It's not the oldest running soap in the country. The oldest running soap is actually the oldest running soap on the planet, and that is Coronation Street. And Coronation Street first aired its first episode in 1960. So it's been going for like 50, maybe 60 years now. That's the oldest soap in the world, and it's still running today. So yeah, it would be 50 from 2000 to 2010, 60 from 2010 to 2020. So that's what I think now, 40, 50, 60. So it's about 63 years old. Wow, that's amazing. You know what, I'm going to come back to this because I'm having trouble with the thickness of the pen. Is kind of, it's very unforgiving, and I don't know how many pots of this blue I've got, and if I've only got one, I'm going to have trouble. Nope, I've got another pot. I've got, I think, no, I've only got one. If I've only got one pot of this blue, I'm going to run out before I get this big area finished. I'm going to finish it in the next section, but it's all of the same video, so it'll just be the next section to this video. Yeah, I need to kind of rest that colour. Any ideas what you think this is? If you do, let me know in the comments section. I'm going to end this section now. I'm going to come back to it. I'm going to let this paint dry, and hopefully I can get this area finished, and then there's another area up here that there's more light blue. So I'm thinking that's maybe the two areas. Yeah, it's the two areas where that light blue is, so I should have enough paint to get that done. So I'm going to end this section here, but as I said, the next section will continue straight after.